Hello, good morning guys. And we are on a new bike today. I think with the way I edit this video, you guys should know that we are testing out the Drive Bike Ranger model. Thank you to Bryan for reaching out to me and sending this bike over for me to do a review. But yeah, I'll share with you my thoughts and let you know what I think about this bike. I'm going to use this bike in a sort of like a real life application, and we'll see how it goes, and I'll give you my thoughts. I'll catch you guys when we get our first order, and of course I'll share with you more as we travel along the road. See you guys in a bit. The first thing I want to talk about is about the pedal length, and I'll put a picture up of what I mean. I'm not too sure the exact word for what I'm trying to talk about, but with the picture I think you'll understand. Because the length is so short, I find it really difficult to push off or start pedaling well, and it's really like you're riding a kid's bike, I feel. Yeah, I find that immediately once I got on this bike to do like a test ride around my car park, that was the first thing I noticed that was very difficult. And I think it's okay if you're using this Ranger as a commuter e-bike, but I think with the gigantic battery, it's more targeted towards delivery riders. I'm not sure if you swap out the pedals or the cassette, whatever you call it. I'm not sure you have enough clearance to the ground when you're riding from the ground, especially if you're turning, you know. Sometimes if you turn too sharply, your pedals will scrape against the ground. I know that has happened to me before. I don't know, yeah. Like right now, just starting off from this traffic light, I'm already sort of struggling. It definitely requires a lot of output from your legs to get the bike going. Yes, provided with the shorter length of the pedals, you don't have that much pedaling to do to get the sensor and the motor going. But I do feel like if you're going to be doing this for long hours as a food delivery rider, it's going to be so taxing on your legs. Today is going to be a 5-hour shift, and I can already see that my legs are going to be in a bit of discomfort at the end of this shift. But yeah, you know what? We're here to do a review. We're here to share our thoughts on this e-bike. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Okay, so wow, shit. Right there, we can talk about the second issue that I don't really like, which is I cannot talk. Which is how unstable the handlebars are on this Ranger bike. Now, provided I know you can change out the handlebars to one of your preference, I mean like an aftermarket piece, but as a stock bike, when you receive it as it is, I really don't have much confidence in the handlebars, and I feel very uncertain and uneasy if I were to take one hand off the handlebar. Of course, maybe you can say, oh, but you were going over uneven ground just now. Yeah, that may be a valid point, but in general, like as you can see right now, when I took my hand off, it was smooth ground and I was not feeling confident. The bike was swaying around a lot, and the handlebars really are pretty short in terms of width, so definitely for some of us it's going to be an issue. Okay, so let's continue with what I see as potential issues with this drive bike. I wanted to talk about the seat post. The seat post that I'm provided with, even raised to the maximum height, still kind of short. I think if you are a taller person, you may need to swap out the seat with something of your own. It's really not a major issue. You probably can find a suitable seat post rather easily. And yeah, I mean, it's something that I would take into consideration because if I'm buying this e-bike brand new, this is something that I will find to be inconvenient. Oh yes, and I forgot to mention about the seat post. Seat post is not long enough, yes, but also the clamp, the quick release mechanism, it's incredibly hard to use. Maybe I'm a weak little boy, which I don't think so, but wow, the amount of effort and strength you need to put in to tighten the seat post is pretty insane. Okay, I have the sneaky feeling that the seat, there you go, yep, the seat dropped as we were riding along, because I don't remember it being so loose. Yeah, so I'm really not kidding when I say it's incredibly hard to tighten. Oh. Come on, man. Oof, I'm exerting a lot of force and I'm like feeling the pain on my palms already. Oh, I don't think I can go any tighter than that. Whew. So that is the one thing I dislike about the seat post. Okay, I'm gonna talk about the key that inserts into the battery. So the key that inserts into the battery only locks or unlocks the battery. It doesn't have an on or off function. With my Comax, you actually can turn on, turn off the battery, lock or unlock the battery from the rack that it's sitting on or sitting in. So I find that to be a safety feature because let's say you didn't bring a bicycle lock with you, you can turn off the battery, take the key with you, and even if people want to steal your e-bike, they are unable to use the e-bike because the key, they need your key, right, to turn on the battery to work. With this being such a 2023 e-bike, that would be the preference, something to have, and unfortunately it's missing in this Ranger. Okay, we're back on the road and I'm going to talk to you about, so I think this is the last point I'm going to talk about, and from there I'll move on to what I like about the Ranger. I'm not sure how well the electric motor sound is picking up on your audio, but I discovered that when the e-bike hits near its top speed, it does not maintain the top speed, rather it will cut off, the motor will cut off and then jump in again to bring you up to the top speed, cut off and kick in again, creating a very jerky sensation as you ride the e-bike. And another thing that I noticed was that the e-bike's top speed will not bring you to 25, rather it caps out at about 24.1 and then it refuses to go any higher, unless of course you're going downhill. So to me, that is a little bit of an annoyance because if you know, e-bikes on the road are already considered like a nuisance to drivers, I would say. Not being able to go at the max speed, even though it's just short of 1 km, to me that is an issue. But I think that wraps up just about all I have to talk about the negatives about this Ranger. Okay guys, so on the way to our customer, there's this hill that we need to climb. So I'm right now on mode 5 on the e-bike and we're gonna see how it does up this hill. Let's go. 22.9, 22.7, 22.2, 22.1, we're losing speed, 22.3. Okay, we're more or less plateaued at 22. And now over the crest, we're increasing speed. Alright, I think this e-bike has more than enough power to power a rider up a hill. Pretty strong motor, 48 volt 18 Ah battery, and the motor wattage, I will have to put it up on the screen because I'm not too sure off the top of my head. But one good thing I like about being on such a small e-bike is that you can squeeze through the gantries very easily. You don't have to worry about your handlebars banging or anything of that sort. So I guess that's the plus point of a really small e-bike. And I'm going to share more on what I like. I think this is the most obvious one, is the gigantic, huge 48 volt 18 Ah battery. That is incredibly huge. Definitely capable of giving you a full day's worth of deliveries, as long as you don't run it on mode 5 the entire way, which is what I was doing. With such a huge battery though, the weight is centered a lot on the back of your e-bike, which then brings me to my second point of the rack. The rack, I don't like it a lot, neither do I hate it. So I'll put a picture of what I did to attach my external rack onto the rack that comes with this Ranger. It is working, the zip ties are holding, the rack is not moving about. So I am neutral. Yeah, I have not used this e-bike long enough to comment on whether the rack is reliable or not, or hardy enough. But so far, so good. The rack is holding up pretty well. And the next thing I wanted to talk about is the pickup speed. There's nothing wrong with the pickup speed. You can feel the incredible power that just picks you up and sends you down the road. So definitely pickup speed is awesome. And this is important. Why? Because when you are at a stop red light and you are starting out and you are amongst traffic, you definitely want an e-bike that can have a substantial pickup speed so that you don't get yourself turned into a pancake. I think this e-bike can handle itself pretty well. And honestly, I would compare it to my Mido Pro, because the Mido Pro is also a foldable e-bike. This Ranger can fold as well. And I kind of like the structure of this Ranger more. I feel it's a lot sturdier. Whereas on the Mido Pro, I felt a lot more flexibility in terms of the frame literally being flexible. So yeah, I kind of really like that about this Ranger. The fact that it's still very sturdy, even though it's a foldable e-bike. And by the way, since we started at around 10:30-ish, we have not gone down a single bar of battery. And I've been riding around on this thing at mode 5, which is the highest mode. And my battery is still showing full. So far, my experience on this Ranger e-bike is, I would say, pretty neutral. Let me talk about more good things about the e-bike. This e-bike comes with hydraulic brakes. I'm going to put up a screenshot again of the model of hydraulic brakes it comes with. And I think that when you're a rider, especially when you're on an e-bike and on the road, brakes are the most important. Not pickup speed, not top speed, not battery. In terms of your safety and staying alive as you go about delivering food to your customers, your brakes are so important. Being able to bring yourself to a stop, and how quickly can your brakes do that. So I love hydraulic brakes. I had them on my Mido Pro. I don't have them on my Comax. The Comax is fitted with a disc brake, which is normal cable activated, as well as normal brake pads, rubber brakes. I forgot the term is called on the back wheel. So it's disc brake at the front and normal brakes at the back. And I will say those brakes are wearing thin already. So when I jumped onto this Ranger and experienced the hydraulic brakes again, it was very refreshing. And it just felt so good being able to apply the brakes and have instantaneous feedback, you know, with no delays. And like, the stopping power is amazing. I can cruise until I'm nearly up to the car and I just slam on the brakes and boom, I'm at a complete stop. So yeah, one thing I really love is the hydraulic brakes. Right now we have gone down 1 bar of battery after like coming 4 hours into this shift already. And let's talk a bit more about my thoughts about this bike. I think it's really up to preference. For myself, I feel like this bike can be used for food deliveries with the 48V 18Ah battery, and if you know how to control your speed and battery consumption well enough, you will be able to do a full day of deliveries on this e-bike. If you are willing to do some upgrades, for example, changing the handlebar, changing the seat post, changing the kickstand, and I recommend to change to a kickstand that Grab Adventures uses on his X16. If you're willing to make all those upgrades on top of the cost of this e-bike, I do think that it is a pretty decent e-bike. It has great power, the pickup speed is awesome, the range you'll get on this is awesome as well. I'm still riding around on this e-bike at mode 5, the highest mode setting, and I am literally blasting everywhere I go. So we are still only down 1 bar of battery from a full charge. And yeah, if you're a seasoned rider, you know how to control your e-bike, this e-bike will do. It's pretty sturdy. The wheels, although small and you'll feel a lot of bumps, the wheels are nice and hardy. So My thoughts are, I would prefer to be on a bigger e-bike, like the Comax. But with that, you sacrifice maybe your battery size because there is a weight limit for e-bikes to adhere to. But my personal preference is I like a bigger e-bike, I like a bigger presence on the road. But, you know, if you ask me to choose between my Mido Pro and this Ranger, I'll take the Ranger any day. So I guess the burning question is who should get this e-bike, and I think it will be people who prioritize a very, very big battery. But if you prioritize battery size and the ability or the functionality of being foldable, the Ranger is the one for you. As with all e-bikes, I'm sure riders can find something to nitpick about, as I have done, but I'm trying to do it in a way that is most practical and related to our line of work, which is being a delivery rider. And also, if you guys observe the way I rode, I'm not treating this e-bike like with utmost care, if I can put it that way. It's not like I'm trying to abuse the e-bike, but I am riding it exactly the way I would ride my own e-bike, whether it's going over humps, etc. So I'm trying to use the e-bike how it would be used in real life, right? Taking the abuse of the road, going at high speeds, etc. And by high speeds, I mean 25 kilometers per hour. So, did I hate my time on this e-bike? No. Honestly, it's pretty enjoyable. I think what I would do, let's say I own this e-bike, I would change the handlebar, I would change the kickstand, and I would also change the seat. I'll probably make it into some type of suspension seat, as G-Man suggested. I think he uses a suspension seat on his X16. Why I say that is because the bike is really heavy towards the back because of the battery, and you really feel a lot of bumps when you go over them. And after riding for just this 4 hours 45 minutes, my ass is hurting. I don't usually get that on my Comax, and I don't usually get that on my Mido Pro either. So, you know, just some pointers to take into consideration. Other than that, I would say this is a very all-rounded, sturdy e-bike. And yeah, would I recommend this e-bike? Yes, I would. But I would also tell anybody who's interested to getting this e-bike to do appropriate research. Go down to go down to the various e-bike outlets and test the e-bikes that you're interested in. A simple test ride may not tell you everything you need to know about the e-bike, but it will at least give you an idea. This e-bike I saw on the Drive website, it costs 1,600 if I'm not wrong. So I mean, with any e-bike, with any big purchase, make sure you do your research. Make sure that you are not just buying the e-bike off a whim. So I'm going to wrap up the video here. Thanks for following along. This is a vlog and a review all at the same time. I think with future reviews, I will do the same because I really want to experience the e-bike in the real life setting and share with you what I feel as we go through that real life application. So yeah, thanks again for following along, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Peace.